Hello, my name is Michael and I am still making a video game. This month was very productive. I was primarily working on tiles, sprites, and animations. Josh and John also came round again this month to do a bit more work towards the game's soundtrack. I'm really happy with how it's all sounding at this moment. It's coming together really well. So, hoping to properly record the soundtrack. Looking towards the end of next month, that should be all done. We're going to make a big day of it and get it all smashed out. You've got quite the variety of musical instruments as well, which should sound really interesting. So we've got the guitars, we've got banjos, tin whistles, and we're hoping to have a violinist and percussionist as well. So that should be really cool. So there's a new enemy in the game for this month. He is the Spearman. Now, he took ages to do up, mainly because he's got far more animations than the Axeman does. He's got a lot more complicated moveset, and he has lots of different attacks and things like that. He's actually a total pain in the ass to fight, especially at this point because he's got such good reach and range on his weapon. And he has a lot of mobility. The Axeman, being one of the basic enemies, just kind of stands there and fights you. The Spearman is one of the more advanced types that you'll come across, and he really likes to sort of attack and move out of the way, or move into attack quickly, things like that. More how the player reacts. So, it's really tough to actually fight him. So, at the moment, the player doesn't have any ability to dodge or do any sort of dashing moves, which will be coming later, and that's sort of what you'll really need to get around these more mobile enemies like the Spearman, and have this sort of longer reach and range on their attacks. But it's really happy with how he came out, and he's all in engine and working. I mean, I might do a few tweaks to the AI itself, especially once I implement the dodging and the dashing moves, but at this point he's pretty much all done, so that's cool. I've got 2 complete enemies in game at this point. I also filmed the footage. I haven't rotoscoped them yet, but I filmed the footage for NPC, who's all done up in full armor, who's a mate of yours that will help you out throughout the game. There's also a blacksmith NPC as well that I need to do the rotoscoping for. I also did work towards the campfire scene, so that's now pretty much complete. There's not much you can do in the campfire scene at this point, but all the tiles and everything, the sort of atmosphere of it's all pretty much done. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Because the campfire is like the central hub of the game. You always start back at the campfire in between levels, and if the player dies, then he always wakes up at the campfire. So it's important that the campfire has this nice, friendly sort of atmosphere to it. Like, you feel safe there. It's one place in the game where you are properly safe. There's never anything that attacks you at the campfire. At the same time, it's sort of it's a little bit desolate. It gives the proper feel for the game that I'm after. Especially once the music will be done, I think it'll be a really atmospheric sort of place. So that'll be cool. I've started work towards the tiles for the forest environment in the game, so that's just another section of levels that are about a quarter of the way through the game. So the tiles for that's about 50% done. There's not too much to go. They're just sort of background objects and a couple of foreground objects and that sort of thing, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully next month the forest will be in, and I can start populating that with enemies as well. Yeah, that'll be good. You might have noticed as well, looking at this gameplay footage, I've got the look of the game's changed a little bit. I've got a couple of visual effects in, just to test out my systems for them and implement everything. So At the moment, you've got a couple of cloud layers which move past over the sky, which does make it look a lot more dynamic. Before, the sky was very static. I've also, in the campfire scene, I've got the birds that fly past. There's going to be a lot of little touches like that, little bits of animation, like flowers moving back and forth, that sort of thing that add a bit more life to it. Because if you have a like static tile-based image, it's really easy to make that look really lifeless. So little touches of animation are what give it a bit of oomph and kind of a bit more life to the actual scene. Now, something I found really interesting just working through the game this month is I've started to transition back to doing the majority of my work at night rather than during the day. I can't really explain why this is. I just seem to be more productive at night. So what I'm finding I'm doing now is if I have something I want to get done, like I want the NPC animated, for example, I end up basically going at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I go, right, you're going to get this done today. I'm not going to go to sleep until I finish it off. So I end up, like for example, when I was doing the Spearman, I ended up doing him over 2 nights, so I had him animated and complete. The first night, I know I worked through to about 5 o'clock in the morning, but the second night, because I was so close to having him done, I actually pushed myself and I didn't go to sleep at all that night. I ended up sleeping through the whole next day, so that's a bit interesting, because previously, last couple of months, I've been working through the day more so than at night, and I don't think that's particularly good to be staying up at night endlessly, so I'm going to try to break myself back out of that pattern. It was something I was doing towards the start of Bannerman, when I was the first couple of months working on it. I was working through at night. I seem to have looped back to that. I think this might stem from when I used to make computer games as more of a hobby than anything else, and I think because you're working during the day, the only time I could work on it was at night, and I'm still in that rhythm. I think rather than doing it 9 to 5, I seem to be doing it about, I don't know, like 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. It's a bit odd, but yeah, it seems to work for me. But I'm going to see if I can transition myself back to doing like a 9 to 5 day job out of it, because this sort of thing isn't a good idea to be doing long term. I used to work night shift many years ago, and it's not good for you. So hopefully I can get myself out of this and go back to working on it during the day and actually sleeping at night. That'd be nice. So looking forward to next month. I'm hoping to have the music recorded and the soundtrack complete. The forest should be completed and in the game. I will have a couple of NPCs in the game, hopefully. And I'm hoping to work on some of the players' animations. Yeah, so hopefully that can all get done next month, and then, just keep soldiering on, and hopefully I can soldier on during the day rather than at night. A big thanks to everyone for watching the Just Make Game series. It's great. I'm enjoying the sort of feedback I'm getting from people. And thank you very much for everyone that's followed me on Twitter and sort of keeping up with things there and leaving comments and messages and that sort of thing. That's that's always nice to see. Alright guys, I'll see you again next month for another episode of Just Make Game. See you later.
Why are you in our house? This isn't your house.